Josh Norman, meanwhile, accepted a one-year offer from Fox to be a regular contributor for the network's NFL coverage, MMQB reported on Monday. According to Norman, he didn't tell his coaches ahead of time. Here's the quote. "I haven't told Coach Jay Gruden or defensive coordinator Joe Barry yet, but I'll give them a nice shout-out on TV." Just marinate on that. "It's not at all going to be a distraction. If you keep your focus on you and not anybody else, you're going to be fine. I'm going to be me on Sunday." So a little later on Monday, Gruden confirmed Norman's claim to the Washington Post. Gruden saying, "I have no idea what you're talking about. Pre-game show for what? Great to know." Stephen A., have the same concerns now just returned to D.C. of RG3 with Josh Norman?
Quite possibly. We don't want to say that definitively yet because it's two different positions. The quarterback position is very, very pivotal, far more important than any other position. And with RG3 at the time appearing to be a bit distracted, too focused on his brand instead of his on-field performance, you have far more reasons to be concerned about your quarterback coming across in that fashion than your new star cornerback that you gave a 5-year, $75 million contract to with $50 million guaranteed. But it doesn't negate the fact that I must admit I find myself a bit disappointed in Josh Norman. I don't think that this was a wise move to make. You don't sit up there and take another job before you even started your new job. I mean, Josh Norman has proven himself on the field. He's earned and the right to get the contract that he has received. I'm happy for him. I thought that it was bad for the Carolina Panthers to throw him out like dirty bath water the way that they did. Gettleman did just a few months ago. I hold firm to that position. But then something like this makes you question whether or not they saw something that we didn't see in terms of questioning how he was going to be in the locker room and beyond now that he got the recognition, and obviously he was looking for a new contract and wondering about his presence in that locker room. Now, I think Josh Norman is a good guy. I've interviewed him one-on-one prior to the Super Bowl. You know, I spent time with him in his crib. We were there at the Redskins. Yep. I personally like him. But I put this out, just like a Draymond Green, who I'm very fond of. I'll put this out as a warning to Josh Norman. You can't do stuff like this. It's not that you took the job, even though some would say, why don't you show up on the field for the Redskins first and produce? I'm not even sweating that. But when you laugh off that you've accepted a television job before you've even gotten the okay from your bosses, that just doesn't send the right message to the new organization that you're working for. And you never know when that can creep in. Ingratiate yourself with your teammates and the organization. Make everybody recognize that you all in. And don't, by the way, don't get me wrong, guys talk about it. Deshaun Jackson was telling me just the other day about how Josh Norman is mad because we didn't get in enough reps. So he's clearly working hard. He wants it badly. He intends to be successful and all of this other stuff. This ain't the end of the world. But this is the kind of thing that if things do go awry, if they do go wrong, how much you want to bet your bottom dollar that a lot of folks are going to hearken back to this situation right here to use it as an excuse to question his level of focus in terms of doing whatever it takes to win. You know the effort is going to be there with him because he'll never cheat you with effort. But RG3 wasn't going to cheat you with effort either. The question was focus. And considering who they just let go of, which is RG3, and he goes to Cleveland, and all the questions that emanated from RG3 because of his focus, for Josh Norman to just land there and before a preseason game to bring that into question, I just think it was a very unwise thing for him to do at this juncture.
And you look at Washington, the Washington franchise. I'm not going to use the name. You look at that franchise and the way they do things. They've made big, splashy moves, flashy moves since Dan Snyder's been the owner. Hainsworth, how'd that work out? RG3 gave up a ton of resources. How'd that work out? Now Norman. And it doesn't seem to be getting off to an auspicious start in the sense that you're discussing. And that's partly because, I mean, for every Deion Sanders who signs as a free agent has a tremendous impact, so much of success in the NFL has to do with your circumstances, your environment, right, the system you're in, etc.
But do you have
that more often? Well, what I'm saying is more often it's a Hainsworth situation than a Deion Sanders situation, and here we may have the same thing again. It's possible. Why is that in the NFL? Because, as you mentioned, Stephen A., They know something about this guy that they haven't priced him the same way you've priced him. Teams control players in the NFL. If they're letting a guy go, because he doesn't get to go unless they let him go. It's basically the way the league works. They have some intel on him that makes them say maybe it's okay to let him go. And the Washington franchise seems all too happy to invest tremendous resources in that kind of player. Now, in terms of specifically what he's doing, taking a TV job, and not telling his employer in football about it, and then kind of bragging about it, and then, as Molly pointed out earlier this morning, talking about, I'm going to be me on Sunday. You know, you hear me, not we, and all those things. I got to say, in football in particular, in the NFL, there is, on the one hand, it's a very intellectual game. Like A.J. Liebling used to write about boxing, The Sweet Science, a famous book. He said, boxing is chess played on human bodies. It's not true. Football is chess played on human bodies. So it's very intellectual in that sense. There's a lot to know, and football fans are highly educated, etc. However, it's also anti-intellectual in a way, because we ask these players to do things frequently that aren't in their best interest. Hey, go in and do this. Yeah, but it'll make my career shorter. Take this injection. Yeah, but is it good for me? Go do, you know, sacrifice for the team.
I got all of that, Max, but do you have a problem? I mean, what do you do? Was he right to do this? Yes or no?
Yes, he was for himself. No, he wasn't for his team. Because for himself, what he's saying is, I'm going to have a TV career. The NFL says, well, really, what are we asking these guys to do? We're asking them to sacrifice everything to be on a bigger TV show.
Yeah, but
all the NFL is a TV show.
But here's
all the playoffs are a bigger TV show.
Here's the bottom line for me, though. You said it's focus. It's not even focus. It's respect. He wants to have a broadcasting career after he got an opportunity. Good for him. But the Redskins took care of him. They showed him, gave him the money, showed him the love. So have some respect, and don't share it with them through the media. It was the way he communicated that I think was disrespectful.
You could say that.
He could take the job.
But you could say that, Molly, but that's not where I'm going. What I'm going with you and Max is this. In the end, it doesn't matter whether you think the NFL is reality TV or not. You are going to an organization that just got through the RG3 era. You do something like this after getting a huge contract before you have played a down. And on top of it all, you never informed them. You just announced it. So my point to you is that in the end, it elevates the level of pressure on Josh Norman to go out there and perform even more than the pressure he already had on him. That might be a great thing. That might be a great thing. But at this moment in time, the reason why it could potentially be a big issue is because you are following the RG3 era. And what was the complaint about RG3?
Right, but what you're asking Norman to do speaks to my point. You're saying, hey, kid, drink the Kool-Aid. Do what's best for everyone else. Although
at least for the first month.
But Norman might say, I'm going to do what's best for me at all times. Now, is that the kind of player you want on your team? No, because in fact, that's what I'm talking about. As a fan of the team itself wants players that will act not in their best interest, but in the team's best interest. Frequently, those two things are opposed to each other. He's acting in his best interest. If you're a Washington fan,
so then you don't have a problem with it.
I don't have a problem with him.
Well, that's what I've been waiting to hear. I've been asking you. I've been asking you.
If I was by the way, I'm not a Washington fan. I'm not a Washington fan.
I'm just saying, I've been asking you. What did you like it or not?
I liked it for Josh Norman.
Okay, that's what I was waiting for. That's what I was waiting for.
So it's a two-part, taking the job and then how he handled taking the job. So we disagree on this one. So some Cowboy news for you all. If Tony Romo goes down, don't you worry. Big Jerry has you covered. Cowboys update on their quarterback situation.
There's a Cowboy item in the show?
Yeah.
Damn it!
It's news.